President Joe Biden signed an executive order temporarily restricting asylum requests once the number of illegal border crossings exceeds 2,500. The southern border would reopen only once that number falls below 1,500. Here with me now on the show is Sara Mckinnon, a UW-Madison professor and expert in immigration and asylum and refugee law. Sara, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Sara, illegal border crossings have continued to decline over the last 3 months. Data from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection shows border arrests were lower in May of this year than they were in 2019. Why do you think the Biden administration decided to implement this executive order when they did?
I think we need to understand the context of this order in relation to the election, the presidential election right now. Much of the campaign for both sides of the presidential election is about immigration. And so really demonstrating someone is on immigration, I think is a strong part of why we see this right now, really demonstrating that that is a part of the Biden administration's platform.
Sara, earlier this year, Republicans in the House and Senate refused to pass the bipartisan foreign aid supplemental that would have provided military aid to Israel and Ukraine while also taking additional measures to secure the border. They ultimately passed a similar version of that proposal without immigration provisions. Republicans in the Senate have specifically called on President Joe Biden to take executive action at the border. Why would you say is the reason the GOP is not backing this effort?
I believe what we see here is a dynamic of a political contestation where both parties really want to be seen as the initiators of policies that are tough on immigration. And so in that January deliberation, I think there was a real refusal to implement anything relating to immigration on the side of Republicans, so that President Biden wouldn't be seen as doing work on these efforts. And so I think this really makes sense why President Biden then turned to the executive order activities, the option to implement this so that he could continue with his demonstration of being tough at the border.
Sara, immigration advocates have spoken out against the executive order. The American Civil Liberties Union has already announced plans to challenge the policy. Do you think there is an effective way to address what is taking place at the southern border that both sides could agree on?
We know that the executive orders that implement tougher restrictions on people's ability to seek asylum really don't work. That wait and see dynamic, I think, there's a long history that demonstrates that when a policy like this is implemented, at first, there's a little bit of a pause, a relief in the movement, and then it picks back up. This is not a program that really works. And so I think that rather than looking at policies that are focused on the border, we should be focused on policies that really impact the pull factors, the reasons why people have to leave their homes to seek safety elsewhere. And unfortunately, we don't see enough of those policies implemented at this time in order to substantively address the reason why people have to leave their homes.
Sara Mckinnon, UW-Madison professor, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.